Greetings and salutations, everyone. This is me giving my opinion on the novelization of Halloween. Halloween starts off on Samhain, going in through a Celtic type of time period and stuff like that. It goes into this deformed guy who is in love with this girl, but the girl doesn't love him, of course, blah, blah, blah. You know that whole gist where he confronts her and she is repelled by him and starts claiming that he was trying to rape her when all he was doing was actually confessing his love to her. The next day, I think, or whatsoever, she is getting married to this guy. Then Edna was the deformed guy's name. He kills the girl and her fiance, husband. The whole crowd then kills Edna till there's nothing left besides a heart, and put a curse on him, saying that he will walk the earth, reliving that night over and over again. And then it goes to, I guess, 1963 with Michael Myers, his grandma with his mom too, and his grandma's telling the story about the boogeyman and how Halloween used to be different and you would never get costumes like how Michael has the clown costume and everything. That you would never really have that. Those aren't real costumes or whatever. And she talks about the boogeyman, and Michael's mom says, "Don't tell those type of stories around Michael because he's already having nightmares and he hears voices." Now, the grandma is intrigued by all this because of Michael's grandfather. And apparently his grandfather heard voices too, and started killing people as well, but then got killed himself, I believe. And later on that night, Judith is meeting up with her boyfriend, kind of like in the movie, but there's more going on in the book, of course. Like, the book has more stuff in it, and it goes into more detail about Judith and her boyfriend and how they're getting ready for Halloween and trick-or-treaters. They get some trick-or-treaters, actually, and Michael is already out trick-or-treating as well, I guess. Anyways, they get some trick-or-treaters, and Judith is messing with them, saying, "What would you guys do if I didn't give you any candy?" And the kids just kind of stood there, not really knowing how to answer to that. Michael answers out, saying, "We'll kill you." Now, Judith didn't really recognized everyone besides the clown costume, but it did seem familiar to her, because she did remember dressing up Michael Myers as a clown. But when Michael said that, she then realized it was Michael Myers, but he calls out, "I'm not Michael, I'm a clown." And then they all go off running and trick-or-treating again. And the whole Judith and her boyfriend thing starts going down, and Michael is kind of like watching them, kind of like in the movie. But there's more going on with Michael, like, since he hears voices, there's a voice that is guiding him pretty much, telling him to kill her and her boyfriend because of what they're doing. And he didn't really mind his parents when they were doing it because he knew it was out of love. But for some reason, between Judith and her boyfriend, he actually had a problem with it. So the voice was guiding him to get the knife and everything and to kill Judith after her boyfriend left. And he goes downstairs, and this is a difference from the movie and the book, of course, too, is he got hungry and opens up the fridge and gets out a cookie and milk, and then wipes his face, and the blood from his shirt, I guess, or hand, mixed with the milk when he wiped his face. So milk and blood was on his face. Then he goes out in the yard, and his parents drove up and took off the mask, because I guess he put it back on. And then he goes to the courthouse and everything, confesses to everything. They were questioning Judith's boyfriend, but then Michael just kept confessing that he was the one who killed her and everything, and they put him away because of that, because he killed his sister, and then, yeah, kept confessing, even if he didn't do the crime, I guess, because they were having a hard time believing Michael because he was so young. But even if he didn't do that, he was confessing to something pretty out there and was talking about it. So, yeah. Anyways, Dr. Loomis took an interest in Michael Myers' case, I think, if I'm described in the book, and started studying Michael. And Michael actually talks as a kid, it seems. And I know people hated that from Rob Zombie's Halloween, but I think the problem with Rob Zombie's Michael Myers was when he talked, he wasn't really. He was just more kind of annoying, and there was a lot wrong with that Michael Myers. This one I would say is more interesting because he is a regular kid, but more of like there's again a voice guiding him to do things. And I would say from hearing how Michael is in this book, he there's more to him. We learn stuff about him, but I would say there's definitely more to Michael Myers for how he acts and everything. There's a voice that apparently guides him, but I would say he does do other things for himself, kind of. So yeah, because I'll get to that later. Anyways, Michael pretty much was kind of like the king in the sanitarium. He never got bullied, and according to Dr. Loomis, that was kind of a big deal because there were bullies in the sanitarium. Someone did pull a trick on Michael when he was eating his food and he grabbed the salt. I guess it was one of those jokes where the salt just comes all the way out and spills all over his plate. I think there were also in the book it said that people were laughing at Michael when that happened. Anyways, the guy got food poisoning according to later on in the book. He had stomach cramps that were so severe and they were saying it was food poisoning. And they didn't really believe Michael did because how would he have access to go through all to the kitchen and do all that? So yeah. Another thing was in the book when Michael did break out, because Sam Loomis during the whole time when Michael was a kid wanted him to stay in the sanitarium longer because he believed Michael was evil. He was doing horrible things in the sanitarium. Everyone was scared of him basically and was nice to him. Um, so yeah, he was trying to keep Michael in there. And when Michael, there was this one time when he tried to get Michael in the act because Michael, I guess, came up to him and said, "Why don't we have a Halloween party?" And it was basically that whole reliving his childhood memory type of thing, kind of like him killing. Anyways, he asked Dr. Loomis of that, and Dr. Loomis was hesitant at first, I would say, and then agreed to it, thinking, yeah, I could catch him in the act now. And they were doing this whole musical chairs type of thing, I guess, and a girl beat him to a chair. Later on, they were bobbing for apples, and I guess, and he tried to drown her. So, yeah. But he wasn't around her when that happened because the electric went out, and it was an ordeal. Anyways, also the judge that put Michael there and was willing to let him out when he, I think, or wasn't willing to listen to Dr. Loomis, he died. So yeah, and there was a new judge who, yeah, agreed with Dr. Loomis and wasn't as kind to Michael. So Dr. Loomis got his way. Anyways, when Michael breaks out during that time, I'm just going to go ahead and skip to that part. It was revealed that the reason why he knows how to drive was because through all, I guess, those for all those court dates, he studied Dr. Loomis when he was driving, which I guess that makes sense. Because when he breaks out, they did explain that he was having trouble at first getting the car to move and everything, but he then got it down. So yeah, and we then learned that another difference between the book and the movie is that after Lori drops off the key, she starts thinking about the Michael Myers case. She then brings it up to her mom about it, and the mom says that if she went to church more and everything, it starts talking about how Michael Myers is a reminder that evil is out there and everything. So, yeah, there's that. Then she goes to school, and when she sees Michael Myers, her and Tommy both, when they see Michael Myers, well, for one, let's start with Lori. She's seen a guy with a pale face, red lipstick, and purple eyes. Tommy didn't really see much of Michael because he was standing in front of the sun, but he did notice a scar, and he said it looked like a mask. He was wearing a mask. So I guess that was pretty interesting. I don't know how that would have looked, but I guess he was still wearing the same mask from the movie, but for some reason they described it differently, or that's his actual face. I don't know. Especially the scar part. I don't know if he was wearing a mask or anything, or if there's an actual scar on his face. Also, I want to go back to this scene. I didn't really talk about that much. During the time after Michael escaped and Dr. Loomis is talking to Dr. Wynn, kind of like in the film, he asked him why, if Michael was able to leave this whole time, why didn't he do it sooner? And Dr. Loomis pretty much said that he had it made, which I believe that makes sense for especially the newer Halloween. People always said, why didn't Michael break out sooner? Why would he wait that long and everything like that? And I would say you could give the same reason from this novel, that he just pretty much had it made in the asylum. Everyone was basically scared of him, the fellow inmates and everything. He pretty much was the king, so yeah, he didn't really mind it that much. Back to later on. There are just a lot of differences in this book from the movie, and I would say just try to find out a way to listen to the book from there, because there are audio versions of it on YouTube. I've listened to it on YouTube. That's why I'm making this video, because I feel like the book is very interesting compared to the movie. Real quick, I'm going to talk about the ending because it's also different. There are lines from Halloween 2 that are put into this book, which are when, I guess, after he shoots Michael Myers, he goes down the steps and a guy comes out of his house, said, "What's going on? I've been trick-or-treated to death all night." And he says, "You don't know what death is." Also, before that, when he's reloading the gun, Laurie sees him and he says it heightens my security. So yeah, there's probably things from this book that's been put into the movie or the sequel of Halloween. So yeah, just wanted to make that point. And also, they actually go down the steps to see Michael Myers' body. Dr. Loomis just didn't look off the balcony again, and then he's disappeared. They go down and he's disappeared. So I thought that was another interesting and different thing to point out from the book to the movie. Anyways, I want to give my thoughts about the book. I do recommend you guys try to find a way to either listen to the book or read it. I don't know if there will be anything online. I know the book is really rare and expensive. That's why I listen to it on YouTube. But it's really interesting, and it's especially cool to see the differences between the book and the movie. So yeah, I really enjoyed this book, and I actually think it's more creepier from the things they go into detail with in the book, and especially with Michael, because we get to learn more about him from his perspective that we didn't really get from the movie, of course, and his victims as well. Like, whenever Michael gets ready to kill someone, it goes in he's basically guided by the voice of whenever to attack, and I thought that was interesting. Another thing was, whenever his victims would die, they go into detail about that. Example is Annie's death. It plays out the same way from the movie, except we get to hear her inner thoughts. She starts thinking about her father telling her that she should have been careful, her last words to her parents. She starts thinking about stuff like that, and then after Michael stabs her, I say. So we kind of get stuff like that, and I just thought that was interesting, sad, and just, it's a good book. It's really a good book. So I do recommend it, highly recommend it. So whenever you guys get the chance, definitely look it up if you can. Some of you probably already have. or maybe some of you are coming to this video actually learning about it for the first time. So yeah, that's all I have to say about this. It's a very interesting book, very interesting, and I know some people are probably hating Halloween 6 for the cult stuff and everything, and how this book kind of opens up with that in a way. But I would say what they did in the book was more tamed from all the cult stuff in Halloween 6, especially the producer's cut, I would say. But also more interesting, and I don't know. But anyways, you guys tell me your guys' thoughts. If you even read this book or listened to an audio version of it on YouTube, tell me what you guys thought about it. Or if you haven't, tell me if you want to read it someday or listen to it, or what you thought about this video, about me going into some detail about it. Leave a comment below. Let me know your guys' thoughts about the Halloween novelization of Halloween. And yeah, if you like this video, click the like button. If you love any of my videos or anything like that, subscribe if you haven't. Share this video around, and I'll see you all next time.